I feel I have seen a lot of things during my career. I have witnessed temperature extremes during certain years that's had a dramatic impact on power consumption for our members. I have worked through multiple storm events with names I've never heard of before, like derecho or polar vortex, as well as my share of ice storms and flooding events that's resulted in millions of dollars of damage to our electric system. I have also witnessed years where our local economy was booming, as well as those years when it was struggling. I thought I've seen just about everything, but I was wrong. Certain events over the past year has really made me, as well as many Americans, take notice. While these events were not specific to our cooperative program, they will certainly have a direct impact on Mid Ohio Energy's future. Perhaps the most dramatic events are the global pandemic known as COVID-19, paired with the current deep political and ideological divide we are seeing within our country, and how both are being reported by our media outlets. I bet most of you would agree that the pandemic is one of the biggest changes to our daily lives that any of us have ever experienced. Unprecedented changes have occurred as a result. Changes such as wearing a mask and social distancing in public, not being able to see loved ones or share events such as Christmas or birthdays, not being able to visit sick or shut in people in hospitals or nursing facilities, and very limited or canceled public events such as church services, weddings, graduations, concerts, or even county fairs. This list includes cancellation of two in person Mid Ohio Energy annual meetings and instead holding these events virtually. The business environment has changed dramatically over the past year as well. I personally know several people whose employment has changed to now working remotely from home instead of an office. In some cases, these are permanent changes going forward, regardless of the outcome of the pandemic. While some would argue modern technology has allowed remote working to be effective, I personally feel in many cases it harms the collaboration and strategic thinking that can best be achieved with a face to face working environment. This is one reason Mid Ohio Energy continues to maintain fully staffed operations within both of our office locations. We have and will continue to follow guidance by health officials during this pandemic. Mid Ohio Energy staff has been very fortunate and successful in keeping our employees and members safe during this pandemic. Some examples include the modifications of our offices, such as installing permanent glass barriers and temperature monitoring equipment. We have also restricted interactions of employees between our office locations to attempt to limit the possibility of spreading the virus across the entire company. But we continue to focus on our operations, safety, and reliability, and continue to keep our offices accessible to our members. We feel this is part of our commitment to service excellence for our members and sets us apart from the other energy providers. Moving forward, our goal remains to provide excellent service to our members, and we are eager to someday resume our face-to-face interactions at events such as our annual meeting or member appreciation days. Hopefully, in the coming months, our country can reach the point where public gatherings are once again safe. Until then, we will strive to keep our members' best interest at heart and continue to maintain the excellent service and reliability our members have come to expect. With the remarkable development of vaccines in record time, our nation will eventually move past the COVID-19 pandemic. However, what will likely take much longer to heal is the magnitude of the deep political and ideological divide within our nation, fueled by the opinion-focused news coverage by our media outlets, not to mention the censorship of certain voices by the social media companies. Personally, I would have never imagined I would see such things happening in the United States of America. Unfortunately, politics have always had a dramatic impact on your energy cost. With a new Congress and president in office who have promised massive regulations and to eventually end the production of carbon based energy in our country, introducing plans like the Green New Deal that will cost trillions of dollars to implement, the future of what you will pay for energy is now very uncertain. It is now more important than ever that our elected officials hear from you and understand the impact proposed legislation will have on you and your family. Elected officials from both political parties need to hear how these federal policies that seem to be modeled after those in place in California will have long-term negative impact on rural America. Also, our legislators must realize that America is not on a level playing field with other nations when it comes to climate policies. Recent executive orders, such as canceling the Keystone Pipeline project, will lead to higher domestic energy prices, while other actions, such as re entering the Paris Climate Agreement, allows countries like China or India to enjoy exemptions from required greenhouse gas reductions, while other countries like the United States bear most of the cost and are bound by the greatest amount of restrictions. And perhaps what is even more detrimental is the fact that our nation's media has become opinion oriented rather than research or fact based, and cherry picks what is reported to drive a narrative one way or the other. So when you turn on your TV, read the newspaper, or search social media, please question what you see and hear, especially if that topic is energy related. If the claim sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Go to trusted expert sources like Mid-Ohio Energy, which you own, for the real story. Mid-Ohio Energy is committed to the best interest of our members, and we have had over 85 years of experience in the industry to back that up. Special interests backed by large technology companies are driving a green agenda at the expense of rural America. Our federal government is currently being led by large city interests from the East and West Coast who frankly do not understand rural America. Our government leaders are listening to special interest groups and environmental groups who seem not to follow the physics of how electricity is produced and delivered, but instead promote aspirational goals. Environmental groups such as the Sierra Club is helping our current political leaders put forth aggressive goals such as the United States achieving a net zero carbon reduction goal by 2035. Environmental groups such as the Sierra Club uses much of its data from resources such as the Goldman School of Public Policy at the University of Berkeley in California. Rural America can least afford massive changes being proposed in Washington, nor an energy grid that is a reflection of California's rolling blackouts and have some of the highest rates in our nation. America must go forward with an all-above energy strategy that includes a mix of abundant fossil fuel resources, along with renewable resources, or we will likely never achieve affordable, reliable, or sustainable power in this country. This message has become even more important since the transition in our federal government this past January. Our country has never witnessed the level of federal overreach by the executive branch, who has issued 22 executive orders in the administration's first week in office. This is 5 times the amount of any other president in our nation's history. And the more executive orders continue to be signed. In the administration's first 2 weeks in office, a staggering 47 executive orders or actions were signed bypassing your elected representatives in Congress. The immediate result of many of these orders had devastating effects on the private sector, including massive job loss, increased regulation, and higher consumer prices that will eventually impact the lives of every American. It's also very concerning that these executive orders that are never debated or even read in advance bypass our elected members of Congress who represent the states and districts in which they were elected. In my opinion, this is not the will of the American people, but instead the will of certain interest groups in Washington, D.C. We must continue to voice our concerns and protect our way of life within our communities and ask our members of Congress to challenge the overreaching authority of any executive order that negatively impacts the cost and reliability of electricity in our country. I can assure you, Mid-Ohio Energy will continue to fight to protect your interest in Washington, D.C., in Columbus, and here at home. We look forward to providing you with the facts about energy we provide our members. We also look forward to seeing all of you soon and hopefully returning to normalcy we enjoyed before the pandemic. On behalf of the board and employees, I would like to wish you all good health and to stay safe. And we hope we see you very soon. Thank you.